Welcome to Tech News Briefing. It's Tuesday, July 18th. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Actors and writers have been striking after unions representing each failed to reach deals with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, a coalition representing movie and TV studios, networks, and streamers. A major sticking point in the talks has been how the industry should adapt to new technologies. Here's Fran Drescher, the president of SAG-AFTRA, which represents actors.
The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines.
Our media and entertainment reporter Joe Flint is here to talk us through this. So Joe, let's start with artificial intelligence. What specifically are the actors' concerns here?
Actors are concerned about a couple of things. One, that their likeness could be used over and over again without their authorization and, as important, without being compensated. And two, the idea that perhaps certain technology, AI, can be used to actually perhaps eliminate the role of some actors, be they background actors, that kind of thing.
How do those concerns differ from the writers who are also on strike?
The writers are concerned about ChatGPT, another form of artificial intelligence, and the potential that could have in terms of creating scripts, in terms of cutting the writer out of the script-making process. I'm by no means an expert in technology, so forgive this rather silly example, but the idea being that, hey, I need a good Western. Well, let's just throw 10 classic Westerns into a machine and see what it comes up with.
We've already seen AI used in film, though. I mean, why is this something that actors and writers are raising now?
Well, the technology is advancing now. It's one thing to use AI or certain technologies to de-age Harrison Ford or Al Pacino in a movie. It's another thing entirely to perhaps use AI to take an actor's body of work or their likeness or their voice and use it without any authorization. And that's the concern of the actors. I want to be clear, the studios are just as concerned about AI as well. It's not like they own the AI machines. And if someone is putting scripts of Modern Family into a machine to train AI, well, then Disney, that owns the IP for Modern Family, is also going to be like, where's my money?
All right, let's talk about the other technology that both of these groups have been concerned about, streaming. The unions representing the actors and the writers have both said that streaming has changed the industry for their members. How so?
What streaming did was really change the business models. And initially, everyone loved streaming as a business model. You were making fewer episodes. You didn't have to worry about ratings. And Netflix did these deals where they gave you big advance payments. Then, though, as streaming continues to go on and these companies began to make money from it, particularly Netflix, a lot of companies are still struggling with streaming. Disney is not making money. HBO Max or just Max has had one profitable quarter. Paramount Plus not making money. But the lack of transparency for a performer, be it actor or writer, in terms of how popular your show is, beyond Netflix's top 10 list they put in their site, you really don't know, limits your ability to negotiate. And it also limits your ability to make sure you're getting what you need from all these other markets around the world.
I just want to take a moment to talk about something called residuals, which is how a lot of people in Hollywood make money. Can you just explain what that is and why it's so important in these conversations about streaming?
Not everyone is a superstar. Not everyone working in the industry, in fact, most people working in the industry, are not the cast of Friends making over $1 million an episode. They're working actors whose salaries are tied to a rate card. And so the residuals often are what sustain actors in between dry periods, if they're lucky enough to be in a show that has residuals. So the model doesn't really exist the same as it does in broadcast or cable TV as in streaming, because the information is so secretive. We knew how many people were watching an episode of Friends every week and how many were watching the reruns of it on TBS. On Netflix or Max, we don't necessarily have that data. So if you're negotiating on behalf of these performers or trying to figure out what your residual or cut of it should be, it's sort of walking around with a blindfold on.
What are the actors and writers asking for in terms of changes to how much money they make based on streaming?
One is they just want general wage increases, and then they want the residuals increased for streaming in terms of the percentage, but they also want more transparency in terms of the numbers so that they can see how popular these shows are.
We should add that the Alliance of Motion Picture Television Producers say they've offered very significant raises and protections around AI. But Joe, how long could these strikes possibly go on for?
Well, initially, when it was just the writers, we were thinking, oh, we'll get through the end of summer and then everyone will sit back down and cut a deal. The actors going on strike has obviously re-energized the writers as well. It'll start to hit the audience for movies in 2024. Right now, you have movies and streaming companies, they bankroll a lot of content. They make stuff in advance, put it on the shelf, and that's how the movie biz works too. But, we get into September, October, November, it's going to start to mess with their production schedules. And for the broadcast networks and cable channels, well, that's already happening. Right around now is when writers are reporting back to duty to write new episodes for the next season, and actors come in and start filming, and nothing's happening on that front. So the fall TV season will be pretty light for a lot of people.
All right, that's WSJ's media and entertainment reporter, Joe Flint. And that's it for today's Tech News Briefing. For more tech stories, head over to our website, WSJ.com. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening.